Hey YouTube, I did a video a little while back on how to refurbish a Super Nintendo, and I figured I'd make another video, this time with the original Nintendo Entertainment System. I picked this one up. I pick up lots of these for real cheap, and basically I take them apart and I clean them up. People don't know how to take care of things, and this is what it looks like when it gets neglected. So, but that's alright. You know, they dirty it up and they sell it for cheap. I pick it up, clean it up, and you know, make it almost new again. So this video, I'm just going to show you how to take it apart and basically clean it out and just, you know, make it look good in case you have a Nintendo sitting around your house that is in this, you know, similar kind of condition that you want to work on. So right now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the screws on the back of here. They have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think only 5 Phillip head screws in here, so I'll go ahead and take those off, and we'll pick up from there. Alright, I lied, there was actually 6 screws, but I just unscrewed it, so the top just comes off real easy, and look in here, it looks pretty gross. Not as bad as the outside, but definitely pretty nasty. Look down in here, it doesn't look too bad, I guess. The outside definitely looks a lot worse than there. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this metal piece off, and again, all the screws in here are Phillips heads, so pop those Phillips heads off all around there. And then this is kind of tricky, the actual part where the game goes in, you want to be careful, like when you unscrew and screw it on, just remember how all these screws go back on, because I know if you tighten this piece down too much, it won't stay down. Like when you click it, it'll just kind of bounce up and down. And I don't know why that is. I know when I replaced the connector in the back of the Nintendo that I use, I did that. Like I tightened it down too much, and it was weird. I had to mess around with it. So just be careful when you do that. Yeah. All right. So I'll get that done, and we'll pick up to the next step afterwards. One thing I didn't mention before is the controller port. You actually have 2 screws on the bottom, and in order to get that out, you're actually going to need to take those 2 screws off. I'm sure that was pretty obvious, but I missed it before, so I figured I'd tell you guys. Okay, here's another quick tip. When you guys need to disconnect the cables that are connected to the power buttons and the controller ports, in order to get the controller ports out, you actually have to take this off. So sometimes they're on there real good if you can't just like pull on, and just be real careful. You don't want to pull the wire out of that thing. What I like to do is I just I like to take a little flathead screwdriver and sometimes just go right on the corner and loosen it out a little bit, and do that on each side. Sometimes you can get underneath it a little bit. You can loosen it, and then it should make it a little bit easier to get out. So that's a little tip you guys can use if you're having a hard time getting those unplugged. Alright, so once you get the board out, you're just going to have the empty shell. The last thing to do with the board itself is actually the connector, the little 72-pin connector. And that thing, it's kind of tricky, but you just want to be real careful and just kind of pop it off. Boom, it goes off just like that. So if you want to replace that, say you have a Nintendo system that doesn't work, sometimes this is a problem. And you can just pull that off like that, and you can buy new ones online for around 10-15 bucks, and you know, maybe just take like some rubbing alcohol and just wipe the little connections off. You know, just wipe the whole board down actually with the rubbing alcohol. Don't use water, because it doesn't dry like the rubbing alcohol does. But so yeah, you guys can do that while you're at it, since you have your system apart. Might as well just put a new one in. Alright, now my favorite part of the refurb process, making it look good. Just go in your bathtub and spray a whole bunch of water on it, and then scrub it down with some laundry detergent with a toothbrush. And that's gonna be the best way that I found to actually do the first part of the cleaning on this system. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the after picture. So just remember, this is what it looks like now. Alright, that step's done. As you can see, there's lots of scuff marks all over this. You know, the laundry detergent's good to get all the dirt off of it and inside the little cracks of the system, but there's still some dirt on there. So the next step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take one of those magic erasers that they they sell in the supermarket in the cleaning aisle, and it's basically just a sponge with a cleaning like chemical in it, and if you just use that and just rub off some of these scuff marks, usually it does a pretty good job at doing that. It won't get everything off. Just be careful when you go over like the labels, I haven't had a problem with it, but I've heard of other people actually rubbing that kind of stuff off. I know that stickers, like on the side, you can rub off some of the coloring off of those, so usually definitely try and avoid those. So I'll go ahead and do the magic eraser on this, and then I'll show you what that looks like afterwards. Alright, there we go. That's what it looks like after the magic eraser. As you can see, some of the scuffs, like right by my thumb, it didn't get it out. There's a couple, but you know, if you work harder at it and you want to take the time and try and get that stuff out, I'm sure you can. That stuff, I didn't try getting that out. I think I'll try and get that out right now. But you can see it looks a lot better than it did before, so don't skip that step. While this is drying, let's go ahead and move over to cleaning up the board. Okay, like I mentioned before, only use rubbing alcohol on the board. Just put some on a Q-tip and just lightly go over the board and just try and get as much of the obvious dirt off as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but since you got it open, you might as well clean most of it off. Alright, I just put everything back together. Like I said, when you screw this part back on in there, just like continually, push it down and make sure it clicks and stays down, because you don't want to get the whole shell on top and then realize, oh, it's not staying down. So every time you screw a screw in, just click that and just make sure it's working. So you can still see it's a little beat up. That's actually like scratch marks. They're not really scuffs that I can rub out. So I'll show her on the side. The bottom half doesn't look too good, but the top half definitely looks a lot better than it did. So there's the finished thing. Now the final thing we have to do is go and test it out, and hopefully it works. So let's go do that now. Alright, so I got the Nintendo hooked up. Let's test it out. I'm gonna try doing it without putting any rubbing alcohol in it. Let's just see what happens. Got a blinking red light. Put some rubbing alcohol on it and see if we can get it to work. Sometimes I'll just like to put it in while it's still wet. Don't give it the chance to dry. See. There we go, now it's working. Well, seems to be working pretty good. Just got to fool around with it a little bit, but yeah, looks good. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. If you like these videos, let me know.